Short races do seem to be literally, it is what it is. Starting off in position 13, already gaining a place from the MG, as they definitely had a very poor start. Catching up to Old Slappy just in front, who did have a very good start to the race overall, beating the Mercedes in the Mac Tools livery. Going to try and see if we can follow Old Slappy here, as they are in the lovely old fart can that is much quicker than the Honda Civic. Using the momentum and the slipstream of Old Slappy, we may well be able to gain a few places along this back straight. Going up the inside of hooded Fall in the Spoon livery Honda Civic, and that silver Audi up in front we'll come to know is very defensive. That's the terminology I'm going to use, as I end up having a little bit of a moment with the Audi and again with the Honda Civic. Four-wheel drifting around that corner, while it looks awesome, it's just not optimal in trying to keep pace from the cars up in front. Overall though, we have gained a fair few positions. We're now up to position 8. I think the struggle is going to be really trying to overtake that silver Audi, as like I said a minute ago, they are overly defensive and losing momentum on that corner is not ideal. Well, thankfully this back straight is where all momentum is found, in the beautiful thing called slipstream, and this is what I mean about defending. That, my friend, is not defending, that is blocking. That is not ideal. Right, okay, we've lost a few places. Back on the track we go. Try and catch up to the pack of cars up in front, and let's try and claw ourselves back to where we started. Well, not where we started, where we were a minute ago. And thankfully though, going off track has given us an illegal pass overtake of 0.8 seconds. Would like to point out though, by the time I rejoined the track, I was only side by side to the Lavorg. I wouldn't call that a full pass, but you know, the game is always right. Stewards, my apologies about that. Probably how I got away with a 0.8 second overall. Interestingly enough though, the car up in front, who was the one that shoved me off the track, is rocking a 2-second penalty for said incident. Let me know down in the comments below if you think that is fair or not. Kind of interesting to know what your feedback is. The defender is defending from the MG going off track, and then tries it on with the Honda Civic as well, and pretty much loses both battles. Thankfully though, we are not involved in said battle, and we can carry on and try and claw some of these places back. Interestingly enough though, the car up in front has managed to gain another 1.4 seconds worth of penalties. That was probably due to the Audi. Now go side by side with said car, kind of paranoid due to the first incident we had with said car. We managed to get out the other side all in one piece, and this is why I say sometimes a lot of incidences are not intentional, because if it was intentional they would have ran me again at that moment, seeing though they had the opportunity to do so. So frustrating, yes, but I wouldn't call it intentional. Thankfully though, we are now in the total boy racer, who is in position 9 up in front, and maybe again down the back straight we can make a move upon them. There's a trio of cars by the looks of it. Fart can lead in the pack, maybe. Well, we've managed to get past boy racer. We'll be able to use a bit of a slingshot move again on the cars up in front. 0.6, 0.5 seconds away in the slipstream. Once this Honda's in the slipstream, it just pretty much becomes a hoover and starts sucking those cars in up in front. Now the fart can is weaving, trying to break the toe from the Audi behind, but Audi is sticking to them like glue, which is fair enough. I mean, I'm sticking to the back of the Audi, and look at the speed we're carrying, 154, 155 miles per hour before the brake is on. And pretty much brought in all that time we had available to us down to 0.1 second, right up behind them. We just need to make a move upon them and also gain the 0.8 seconds away from them, thanks to the penalty we received earlier. Easier said than done, but I have a plan. Take this corner out a little bit wide, come over to the right, and really try and carry as much speed through the start finish line as we can, and by the looks of it, it's kind of worked. Although said Audi is pushing me right over to the left, I don't want any contact with the Audi because that would slow me down as well. Brake into this corner here, Audi managed to claw up the inside, go in front of me, and my momentum has been transferred to their momentum. Yeah, that is not optimal. Right, braking into the corner here. Honda Civic and the Audi do have a meeting, and we wasn't invited, so that's 2 positions gained right there. Out the other side we go. 1.7 second penalty on Fig Leaf up in front in the fart cam. This is going to get very interesting very quickly. I need to get 0.8 seconds away from the cars behind, and within 0.9 second of Fig Leaf up in front to be able to capitalize on their penalty and get away from the penalty that we have. That means we'll be able to gain position 5, and at the moment we're 0.7 seconds away, 2 corners left to go. Fingers crossed we don't mess this up and we can actually capitalize upon said situation and finish the race in position 5, and by the looks of it, it is going to happen. Crossing that line with a 0.5 second gap from the car up in front, we have gained position 5 overall. But before we go on to the next race at the Nürburgring, I'd like to take a moment to thank our channel members, which are Andy Good, Sigmatic, Daniel Adams, Crazy A, AK47 and Spectral Rain. Thank you guys ever so much for supporting the channel. You know, one of the biggest challenges on the Nürburgring is overtaking. Short race, 1 lap, not much room, only equals an insane amount of chaos. Now, I was kind of trying to make a move up the inside of 7 up here, as they did move over to the right side of the track, left the door wide open, but the door was swiftly shut by meeting their door. So there's a lot of doors in that one sentence. Thankfully the cars behind are a good bit of distance away, but coming up to Crash Corner, I'm going to call it from now on, where usually everybody forgets to brake and hits the wall, exactly kind of thing that happens. Peugeot 308 is really trying to get themselves back onto the track and dominate said situation. Okie dokie, you know, I get it, you're trying to recover, but you don't need to put other people in harm's way for said recovery. Yeah, anyway, managed to overtake him. Out the other side we go. Honda Civic is just faster than the Peugeot, and away we go, trying to catch up to those pack of cars up in front. We're now up to position 10, which is a nice place to be. Wonder though, I do wonder what's going to happen with the momentum we're carrying at the moment. Is that Astra staying to the left? They are. Monster livery. That's a white can monster livery. Not seen that one before. Right. Coming around it almost flat out. Braking. There's a lot of chaos up in front. We also have a very sneaky Astra that's come out of nowhere. They kind of ghosted through the Astra that was behind us, so make of that as you will. But is it a position gained, or is it a naughty move and exploiting a system? Let me know what you think down below. But whatever's happened, karma's come back around. There we go. And the Lego Honda Civic managed to gain that position back annoyingly, but it is what it is. Hopefully we can try and gain our position, well, or at least overtake them anyway. Thing is, again, this track is so hard to overtake on unless you're in an area that is a good place for a run or kind of a sneaky kind of move. It's not easy to overtake because you maximize as much of the track as you can use whilst also trying to overtake a car. Usually somebody is at a disadvantage quite heavily. Yeah. On our side though, we do have a 1 second lead from the cars behind, which is only giving us a bit of what on earth is going on here. Yep, I totally butchered that up. At least I wasn't the only one. The link behind managed to follow. How on earth did that Astra get back so quick, considering they were facing the wrong way? Interesting. Look at the grumble. Hopefully we can make a bit of a gain here, try and catch up to the Astra, and then they'll pull us up the hill. Who knows? It's anybody's game at the minute. Car behind is rocking a 1 second penalty, which is only beneficial to us, I've got to be honest. Not exactly entering that corner all that well. Car behind definitely had a better run than we did. But I'm going to keep to the left. Let them take this move. The Link may well be quicker than the Honda Civic. And my plan here is not to hit the Link. A bit more space would have been nice. But use their momentum to drag us up the hill. Sadly enough, though, I did hit the curb and lost all of my momentum. And that pretty much killed the mountain climb. But thanks to, I think, all corners, we managed to catch up to the said cars up in front. Especially considering that they are being held up by the Star Wars Lego Honda Civic up in front. Yeah, crazy enough though, we have a 3.4 second lead from the cars behind. And if everything carries on the way it's going to go, by the looks of it, the cars up in front, I think the Link is getting a little bit fed up with the defending tactics of the Honda Civic. They're trying to make their way through, and the Honda Civic is being as wide as a bus, and yep, just needs that one corner to be able to scrape your way through, and that was it. Now we just need to also have that one corner to scrape our way through, and I was looking there, but I thought I didn't want to smash the Civic off because then I would look like a not so nice player. Yeah, the option was there, the thought was there, but I just couldn't go through with it. Right, flat out down this section here. I think what would be great actually, if all goes to plan, or something goes to plan anyway, I'm going to have the slingshot move from the Civic along this back straight, and they're going to dive into the back of the Link, and then I have the momentum to keep up the Link, maybe? I'm not too sure, I can't really see how far away they are, but that'd be kind of like a nice little hop move from ourselves here. Whether that's possible or not, I'm not too sure. It's all depending on the run I'm going to get from this car in front, and it's not going to be that great. Had to let off a little bit there. Well, I think that Link is going to be about 1.5 seconds ahead, and I'm just not going to have the momentum because I'm overtaking this one now. 2.4 seconds ahead? Crikey, man. You held us up that much? Dear me. Oh, that is not ideal. And what was also not ideal is they're kind of sticking with us here to the right hand side, and I'm hoping that no contact happens as we go around this corner here, because that will kill my momentum, and it doesn't look like it's going to be. They've backed out. I'm going to keep my toe right into it and just absolutely send it up here and see what happens. And worked actually out in our favour. Sadly enough though, Soldier up in front hasn't got a penalty. Considering only 0.7 seconds away, it would be kind of nice if they did. I think I actually gained up a good bit of pace on the Link as well, finishing the race off in position 7. Now those two races were pretty chaotic, but this next race at Laguna Seca is a totally different cup of tea. It's just so weird because you could have two chaotic races, and then the next race after that is an absolute dream. Well, I wouldn't call it a dream, but it was a really good race overall. And it's just weird how that works. Okay, that start doesn't count though, I'd like to point that out. I have no idea what the Lavorg was doing there. Yeah, I can only laugh at that. That was unexpected. Anyway, coming out the other side, we are now up to position 5. Trying to catch up to Master Wilben up in front in the base livery on the Civic. Hopefully you can make a move upon... What are you braking for? You can almost take that flat out, like just go halfway across and then put your foot to the floorboard. You come out the other side all right. Okay. We haven't lost any time, not really. We haven't lost any places, we just gained, so it's okay. Let's try and catch up to the pack of cars up in front. Crazy to think that was also trying to make a move back on me, just back there. I don't know. Right. Catching up to the Audi up in front. That is position 3. I'm not going to be able to make a move here. It's kind of dicey. It's not a great place to make a move. And the last thing you want to do is get off into... We'll not do what that car did anyway. Coming up the inside, we might have a little bit of a kiss there, but we got through and made it. That's fine. A bit of TCR elbow. Would you call that TCR elbow? I'm calling it TCR elbow. Braking at just before the 200 board, and talk about TCR elbow. Position 1 went off the track there. We are now trying to catch up to Wingman Lee up in front, is rocking a 0.5 second penalty, while I am under a lot of pressure from the Replicator behind us, which is not ideal because Replicator is also in a Honda Civic and they do seem to be rather quick. So I have to defend while trying to make grounds up on the Audi up in front out. We'll end up both losing a lot of time, and don't get me wrong, position 4 is 5 seconds away. It's not time I want to sacrifice. I want to make sure that we can keep pushing away from them. I mean, Wingman is only 0.8 seconds away. We might actually be able to get into a bit of slipstream and away we go. Or they have an incident and fall off the track and we can capitalize upon that. Wingman, do us a solid and try and block the Honda Civic for us. That'd be much appreciated. Well, thought that counts. I asked nicely. You saw I asked and they didn't deliver, so we're going to have to defend as much as we can away from the Replicator behind, and hopefully with defending they don't get too frustrated either, and I am defending fairly, that they also notice that and don't push me off the track. You know, it is a fine art because you don't want to upset the car behind and then think that you're blocking when you're actually just fairly defending, like, you know, and I don't want to over defend and make it look like I'm blocking. So there's certainly a fine art to it. I mean, it's certainly going to be hard coming up to this corner now. I really think they're going to make a move here, and the last thing I want to do is lock up. Speaking of locking up, right there, absolute on point. Couldn't, without a doubt, predict that, could we? Let's be honest. It's going to happen, really, wasn't it? Usually at that corner, when I'm trying to defend or match somebody else, I usually lock up, and it's really frustrating. Ah, well, it is what it is. Coming round here now, we're only 0.6 seconds away from them. Crazy enough, though, Wingman is 8 seconds away from us, and position 4 is 14 seconds away. I'm not sure what's going on there, but me and the Replicator are actually having a great race overall. Don't get me wrong, I don't think we're going to be able to catch up upon them, and I don't think they're going to get away from us either. I think we're quite matched to an extent, although I would have preferred not locking up at the top of the corkscrew. But these things happen, and happen to the best of us at the worst times. You know, as long as you keep trying, keep pursuing, and try and recover. I mean, we're doing 2 attempts up better this race already. I mean, a 1:31.142 on medium tyres is a pretty quick lap. I cannot grumble at that. And considering the start of the race, the chaos that ensued, that thankfully we wasn't actually dragged into, and it was taken away from us, we have pretty much finished this race in position 2. And I think that is insane overall. And the time away from everybody else is just like, what? 16 seconds away from position 4. Now 17 seconds away, position 4 has changed. 10 seconds away from Wingman Lee. Not too sure what happened with them, but what a great race overall. Thank you all for watching.